Hello and welcome to South Jersey in Focus. I'm your host, Veronica Dudo. On this week's episode, a beloved Jersey Shore club has reopened under new ownership. Plus, a local author talks about the inspiration for his new book. Just in time for the summer, Memories in Margate is unveiling its exciting renovations and new outdoor tiki bar. A grand reopening and ribbon cutting ceremony was recently held to celebrate the establishment's updated decor, improved amenities, and new menu. The venue hopes to become the premier destination during the busy summer season for locals and visitors looking for a vibrant atmosphere that celebrates the best of Margate's coastal charm. For more, we're joined by Isabel Rosenberg, the Director of Operations with Craft Concepts Group. Hi, Isabel. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, what motivated Crafts Concepts Group to undertake these extensive renovations at Memories in Margate?
Memories has been such an iconic place for so long, and we wanted to keep the essence there, but we decided that we wanted to elevate it just a tad, just to, keep it up with the time. So we thought we would do some renovations and, you'll see what you see now.
Can you tell us more about the inspiration behind the design of the new outdoor tiki bar?
So we do have a tiki bar in the back. It's actually all handmade by cedar wood. What one of our vendors, he actually cuts the wood down in his home backyard, creates the tiki bar, and assembles it there. The inspiration came from we have actually a tiki bar in Center City, Philadelphia, and it's been so popular and it's just been like loved by all the people who come over to that one property. So we thought maybe we take the essence of that and bring it down the shore just for a little tiki vibe in the back, and the patio just provided the perfect space for that.
Now, for some audience members who may not be fully understanding about Memories in Market, can you talk a little bit about how it has been so beloved in the community and now how there's sort of a breath of fresh air?
I mean, Memories is a place for so many different people of so many different age demographics. Back in the day, it started as a place where Jerry Blavat would come and DJ, and his fans would come and they would line dance and they would sing and then they would have a great time. So we decided we wanted to keep that essence as well, but we wanted to expand it a little bit. We wanted to, add a dinner menu in there. We wanted to add, the family aspect of there. So early in their day, you'll see people there with their families and their kids and eating dinner. And then as the night gets a little later, people come, they start to dance, and then they start to have that like line dance aspect adds in. And then a little later in the night, we have a little bit of a younger crowd that comes in where they really get to like, get down and have a really good time.
How is the grand opening?
The grand opening went pretty flawlessly, which is such a breath of fresh air for us. We were a little nervous, we wanted the response to be positive, and the feedback couldn't have been more positive.
What has been the response from the local community and, of course, those who come down to the area for the summer?
The response has just been honestly very thankful. I think the biggest part of this was they just wanted to keep Jerry's memory alive. And we made sure that, we added those little essences of him in the space. If you walk in, you'll see the tribute area of, that has his mixers and his soundboard in the wall as well with a picture of him. His beloved quote that was always on the walls of Memories, we kept it there. We just vamped it up a little bit. We added a little bit of lights. We added some more acrylic, but, that's all still there. And I think the, his fans and the locals of Margate City are very appreciative that we kept that for them.
So, we talked a little bit about some of the changes. What are also some new features and amenities that guests can expect from the revamped Memories?
One of the biggest I would say is that the sound system and the light system. When we took over the property, everyone was like, please, just get a new sound system in there, get some new lights in there. It was a little bit outdated. So we were like, what, let's vamp it up a little bit as well. So we got a whole new sound system in. It's crystal clear. The lights are fantastic. They're, they're very 21st century now, and we can control them, and we can do a whole LED screen where we have our logos of our performers and entertainers on there. So it's pretty awesome.
So, how does the company envision the addition of the tiki bar to enhance the overall guest experience?
I mean, it's a shore vibe down in Margate, so we wanted to keep that. So the tiki bar really provides like an outdoor space, very relaxing. We have our crush machine in the back. We also have our frozen drinks in the back as well. So it really gives, a vacation vibe right at the bay.
Can you share some highlights from the new menu? As you talked about, that's something that is a big addition to offer dinner in the venue.
Yeah, absolutely. Our menu is actually fantastic. We have everything from, linguine and clams to crab cakes. And we have chicken parmesan. We have classic bar foods like smash burgers. We have chicken tenders and French fries for little ones. We really have a wide range. That really ranges from bar food, but also a little twist of Italian on there as well.
And what have some of the patrons talked about in terms of embracing the legacy of Jerry Blavat's influence on how you talked a little bit about the atmosphere and offerings at Memories in Margate?
They've embraced it. I think they understand that, it's a new ownership coming in, but as long as, Jerry's being thought of and, he's been taking in consideration when we do things, I think they're receiving it very well.
So, looking to the peak season, the busy summer season, what kind of events is the company looking towards? Possibly entertainment events that could be featured throughout the summer season.
Well, this summer we are introducing live music, which is a little bit different than what Memories had prior. So we'll have live music every week. Towards the end of the summer, we have some bigger bands coming to perform. We also will be participating in some of the big Margate City events like Fun Fest in September, so stuff like that.
A lot of people from Center City, of course, Philly, and the greater region, they come down to the Jersey Shore for the summer. You know, any types of partnerships with some of your other existing locations?
We definitely do some partnerships. We if you walk into Memories, sometimes you'll see some of our branding from our other locations in there as well. We do partnerships with like marketing and influencers as well from Philadelphia area. Also entertainment as well. I mean, Jerry was South Philly, so we wanted to keep that in the family.
What are some of the goals for Memories in Margate as it's now opening its doors for the first summer with these exciting new changes?
Some of the goals is to be open 7 days a week all year long. Memories was always a seasonal venue, and we decided, you know what, why don't we try to open all year long? So after the summer season, we're going to try to keep our doors open.
What is kind of a plan for that moving forward? Obviously, it's, everyone's trying after COVID to try to go back to, some of that pre-COVID economic output in terms of venues, people getting back together. What are some of the goals to do this for the off season?
Well, because Memories is an entertainment venue, it was important that we had an entertainment program as well. So our entertainment program will extend through the off season. Coming up, we have more than just the DJs on the weekends. We have weekday entertainment as well. So if you keep an eye on our social media, you'll see the announcements for who's coming to perform.
So, we were talking a little bit about some of the, of course, memories through the different generations. For you, what was the impact growing up and spending some time at the Jersey Shore?
For me, it was definitely very emotional just because I grew up in Margate with my family every summer. My parents had gone to Memories, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, they all were goers. So now to be able to, be heading it with my team is just, it was very special to me. I grew up also going to Memories and just being able to see the space as it was and seeing it now is just, it was special.
And just finally, can you talk a little bit about entering the Margate scene in terms of being a business? As we mentioned, the summer season is really a peak season, but there are a lot of establishments that are open year round and families and, a sense of community. Kind of how does the new revamped Memories in Margate see itself fitting in?
Everyone has been extremely welcoming. Everyone has been so sweet, so giving good wishes and stopping by to just wish us luck. Margate in general is just a city that is very warm and welcoming, so I wouldn't expect anything less.
Isabel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Philadelphia native and New York Times bestselling author Omar Tyree is celebrating the launch of his latest book, Control, by holding a fireside chat on the critical issues of mental health and interpersonal relationships. Known for his impactful novels like Fly Girl and Boss Lady, Tyree's new psychological thriller dives deep into the complexities of mental health disorders. Omar Tyree joins me now to talk about his new book and some of its themes relating to interpersonal relationships and mental health. Thanks so much for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me. And when you guys have a show in South Jersey, my main character, Dr. Victoria Benning, is from Camden, New Jersey. And since she's right next to Philadelphia, she has a chip on her shoulder to prove herself, with a whole lot of Camden and Trenton people do since they're right next to Philadelphia. So that's ironic that you got a South Jersey show and that main character is from Camden.
So let's talk about your book with all those characters. What inspired you to focus on mental health and interpersonal relationships in control?
Well, when you get to a certain age in life, as I have gotten to, and you have success early on in life, think that you're going to continue to have successes, and sometimes you can head into a bump in the road. And when you get that bump in the road, you're used to traveling the way you used to travel, but now you have more turbulence than what you're used to. And that turbulence, if you're not used to having that turbulence and you're used to being successful, you can have, extreme reactions to that. Where people who weren't as successful early on, they won't have the same reactions because they didn't have the same expectations. And so what you have is a lot of people who are successful bright and early in their lives, they end up having a lot of control issues later on because they expect to have that same success with those same expectations, but life may change where it becomes more difficult and you're not able to be as successful as you were early on. So you can't assume those things. And those things can really derail a whole lot of humans. And that's what I have in this book with 6 main characters. And then I have my narrator, who again is from Camden, New Jersey, who are dealing with these 6 main characters. And we base it in Atlanta, where they have a whole lot of people doing new things that they would like to do down in, Atlanta, Georgia.
Now, without giving too much away, can you describe the main character in control and the challenges they face?
Well, she's a professional that was interested in psychology, so she studied at Clark Atlanta University, and then she got her master's at Georgia Tech, and then she started studying with an emphasis on people that have control issues. But she's human, and a lot of times we think about doctors and lawyers and teachers as if they're not human, but they are. So they have issues of their own as well, and she deals with that control issue because she had problems with it. People trying to control her, and then her trying to control what she can in her own life. And so that'll come out in the main character, and it comes out in all the other characters. And I want to be able to, get us to catch ourselves with our own control issues. And so when I write books, I always call them faction because I'm writing books based on the facts, and we can always find ourselves in those books and other people that we know because it's based on real life and not made up material.
How do the themes in control reflect real world issues related to mental health?
Right. Well, became frustrated in my own life. So mental health, I understand it when you're pressing, and you start arguing and reacting to everybody. And it's like, calm down. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And so everyone else is like, what's wrong with him? And you think you're normal because you're just responding to the things that you can't control. But they're looking at it like, look, you can't control this, so let it go, let it go. And so you end up with a lot of people saying you got to learn to let it go. You got to learn to get out your own way, which we hear a lot. And so a lot of these control mechanisms, we hear these control mechanisms and we see a whole lot of people trying to deal with them, to cope with them. And so these are the mechanisms that we use, but that's what typically people say that around us. Calm down, let it go, leave it alone, give it up to God. You can't control it. Get out of your own way. Let it do what it do, which was the famous statement from Ray Charles. Let it do what it do, which means get out of the way, let it do what it do. You can't control it. Just let it roll down the hill the way it's going to roll down the hill. And so I wanted to put that issue out there because we all have a lot of that. President or used to be President Donald Trump is trying to control everything right now. Even when he's in trouble, he's trying to control things. And so you have a lot of powerful people. They get used to control and they want it all the time. And it ruins their mental health because now they can't get along with normal people who don't have those stresses that they have. And so they make life unbearable for people around them. And that's where the interpersonal relationships come into play, where they're always stressing out their mothers and their fathers and their sons and their workmates and everyone else that's involved with them because they're trying to control so much, which no one's going to allow you to do that once you become an adult and they're adults as well. So you may get away with some of that stuff in the beginning periods, but once people get tired of you trying to control them and getting frustrated about it, they're going to tell you that, and then they're going to want to stop dealing with you. And so we have a whole lot of that in the book.
What was the research process like for you to accurately portray some of the, psychological aspects in your thriller?
Well, you got a whole lot of books that you read. You got films that you've seen. Stephen King has been the master of, they call it horror, but actually he's been writing psychological thrillers. He's writing about the human mind and how the human mind can unravel when it's challenged against things that it doesn't understand or things that are frightening. And so Stephen King, who's written a lot of books, he's like the king of American fiction. He actually writes psychological thrillers all the time. Why did this person do this? Why did this person freak out this way? Why did this person kill this person? Why did this person run? So all of those issues are what you deal with in psychological, thrillers. And I've watched so many different movies and read so many other books that you just pick up on it as a skill. And then I'm 55 years old, so I've been around enough people who are a little bit off, even with myself. Once you get to a certain age, you're able to detect things in other people that are off, because now you understand the different things that challenge us in our lives. You probably wasn't able to do that at an earlier age, but once you get to a certain age, we already know. You start talking to your grandmother and grandfather, and they already know that girl is off. She needs to do this. She needs to do that, because they know they've lived a long enough life to know when individuals need mental help. And we all do at some point in our lives, because there's going to be some things that we don't understand logically that we need help from other people to understand those. And that's what my main character from Camden, New Jersey is there to do. But she also has her own issues that she has to understand. And so as you read the book, you're able to look at her as well and say, wow, she has some control issues as well. Of course she does. She's human. And none of us are perfect. So she's not perfect either.
How has your writing evolved from your earlier works like Fly Girl to your current novel Control?
Good question. I'm an older man now, so the teenage work that I used to do, I start this book Control with the youngest character in the book at 23, because I do have that strong Fly Girl audience with a lot of young people that grew up with my work. So I wanted to start off with the youngest female character where they can have a little bit of relation to the Fly Girl chemistry and the Fly Girl attitude. But then with the rest of the characters, they're 30s and 40s, because I'm older now, so I want to deal with older issues. And so you have an older audience, but you still want to be able to address some of the issues of the younger people who have control issues as well, particularly when you start talking about the cell phone and social media that they control. And so when they do to control that, they can get into trouble with that and what they do, how they dress, the things they promote on their phone and in social media. And so that's how young people get in control issues. And so I have all of that in there. So I have a young 23-year-old character, but most of the characters in their 30s and 40s. But I wanted to introduce that young character to make sure I can relate to the younger audience that still loves Fly Girl.
What message do you hope readers will take away from your new novel regarding mental health?
Well, at the end of the day, we all can become delusional about what we want to have that's not happening. And I have that in the book in spades. A lot of individuals would like to do more than what they're typically doing, and that can make them pressed and stressed for everyone. And so I want us to be able to catch ourselves and say, wow, I see that now. Maybe I should do another route, or maybe I should get counseling. Maybe I can learn something from this. And so every time I write a book, I call them faction. You can always learn something from my books. And so this book here, Control, is in dealing with our own control issues and those around us. And so this book teaches and preaches a lot. And when you close it, I want you to have discussions about it. And so I told all the book clubs that any book club that chooses Control for the summer, I owe them a guaranteed Zoom call or a podcast call, because I can't wait to talk about it. And it's the type of book where you can't talk about too much of it, because it's a lot of suspenseful things where characters take you in different directions where I can't allow you to know where they're going, because that's part of the thrill of it, like an amusement park ride. So I can't wait for people to read it. And then we have these closed in events where it's just the people that read it and me, so we can talk about all the issues that you come to in the book that I don't want you to know before you read it. And so it's going to be a great time that I can have Zoom calls with book clubs after they read the book, but I can't, relay too much of the intricate details of the books before people read it. And so it's one of those type of reads where I can't wait for people to finish it. So we're going to have fun all summer long, because as people continue to finish it, I can talk about more issues that are in the book than I can talk about with you right now, because I don't want to give too much away.
Now, you've done a lot of interviews and events, fireside chats, but book signings. What is the response from some of the younger generations, at a time where we're seeing social media so popular, and also people's attention span sometimes isn't what it once was? Kind of what's the feedback on, just being able to, do something very traditional like reading a good book?
Well, with the younger people, really been engaging more of the older people because they know me already. But for the younger people, I have some new projects coming back out. The Fly Girl book is coming back out from Simon and Schuster, and that's going to be huge. So right now, I'm rebuilding my audience with the Control book. It's an older audience, but I'm back in the bookstores. I'm back on tour. I'm back in the public eye. I'm back talking about books. I'm back selling books. And then that puts me back in the arena where I can go back after the younger people. And so the Fly Girl book will do that. And then the second book, For the Love of Money, and the Fly Girl trilogy, and the third book, Boss Lady. So I will be able to come back to the young people and address those guys later on. But right now, I'm fertilizing the soil by getting back into the book game. This is my first book in 15 years since All Access in 2015. So I want to get back out there and fertilize the soil, and then I can get back to the young people. But right now, this older book is getting a lot of older readers, and I'm glad to still have them, that they're still reading books and that they're still here with me. But I'm an older guy now, so I have to accept that. And then I can go ahead and get the younger people.
Having a return now, how are you balancing creating compelling fiction with addressing some serious issues like you did with mental health in your novel?
Well, I was trying to do a whole lot of film projects and I didn't have control over that. So being able to come back to literature where they respect you and they know that your word is a strong word, they know that you can execute, it feels great. And it's a blessing that, you're happy to still have it, that people still come out and say, I love your work. I'm glad you're coming back. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to tell my friends. So it's good to be able to still have that audience. But I have a lot of work to do because some people have forgotten about you. And then you have a lot of young people who don't know who you are. And then some of the media people are brand new as well. So they haven't heard about you. So it's a new introduction to them. So this here allows me to introduce to an audience that haven't heard from me. And then they'll know Omar is thorough. He writes great books. Let me check him out. And then once you get a chance to check him out, you'll see that my skills haven't went anywhere. They've gotten better. And so I've increased with age, but I have to get back out there and allow people to see that with this book Control. So I'm very strong and proud of it. And we're going to do a whole 40-city tour. I did about 10 cities so far, and we got about 15 more to go. And then I'm going to do the last leg of the tour with about 10 more to get to around 40. So it's a whole lot of work that I'm doing, and I'm happy to be doing it.
Omar, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thanks for having me. South Jersey, Camden, New Jersey. Dr. Victoria Benning, Control book by Omar Tyree, available now available at everywhere where bookstores are sold and online.
Thanks for watching South Jersey in Focus. I'm your host, Veronica Dudo. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be sure to watch more on New Jersey at onnj.com.